Hi everyone, welcome to the Monday collaboration that I'm doing with Paige, who is Stmpgrl, here on YouTube, and I'll have a link to her channel down below. This Monday it is flowers again, and I had done a floral card before using the Flowering Fields suite, specifically the flowering tulips, and I stamped the tulips. And at that time, this is the one from then, and by the way, you wouldn't have seen this, but I added some extra stems on there because I had only one tulip having stems, which is not good. Anyway, this is the one I made then, which was 2 weeks ago. But I never got around to using the dies for the tulips, you know, for the piecing, paper piecing. And I also hadn't used this set. Now, the flowering tulips is carrying over, but not as a bundle to the, it carried over to the annual. So if you want a bundle for that, I suggest getting that before June 30th. And the tulip fields is not carrying over, none of it. And the windmill dies are 50% off. So if you want that, don't buy it as a bundle. Get the stamp and the die separate, and then it actually comes out to being $34.50, while the bundle is $45.75. So I'm going to be using those for the first two cards, and then we'll switch gears to something else, and I'll show you that when we get there. So again, here's the stamp. Oops. Here's the stamp and die set. Now I am using something that's retired, and it's the Layering Ovals Framelits dies. They had changed the name and rebranded after they parted ways with Sizzix, but I had these even before Stampin' Up, before I became a demonstrator. But they did retire for last year's annual, but I kept them because I'm using them. And I did use the dies, these various dies. I'm not going to do a tutorial on how to put the paper piecing together. There are so many demonstrators that have videos out on that, so feel free to find one. But here it is. I am using the designer paper because I have a lot of it. So let's see. It is called Flowering Fields Designer Series paper. It's beautiful. And it, let's see, that's on page 15. Flowering Fields. Why am I not seeing it? Here it is. Yes, it is 30% off. So it is currently $8.05 if it's still available. It's beautiful paper. Very nice bright colors. I used one that has rich raspberry, fresh freesia, and Highland heather, and soft succulent with evening evergreen. The paper, sorry. So this is the sheet of paper that I used, and it just has this paint look on the back. But that's the colors: fresh freesia, Highland heather, rich raspberry, soft succulent, and evening evergreen. And so I brought in a piece of rich raspberry and used one of the scallop parts of the oval dies, and then I used basic white for the plain part. But then what I did is I spritzed it with both rich raspberry and soft succulent. You get the idea. I spritzed both colors on there. I did use a piece of the fresh freesia, what is this called? Open weave ribbon. These carried over from last year's annual in those in colors, but they'll retire next year. And then I die cut these pieces, which are this and this, and then just some of these little inserts here for all of them. So these are the exact same die cut, they're both the same, and then they just take one of these in it, kind of the larger one. And this one is the same also, but it's done in reverse. I did the Rich Raspberry on the outside and the Highland Heather on the inside. See, I got some glue there. And then this is die cut. I die cut 3 large leaves and 3 small ones, excuse me. 2 smaller stems and 1 larger, taller one. So that goes all the way down under to here. And each flower then has 2 leaves, so that's how it turned out. And then this, I used also the ovals. I was going to use the scalloped oval punch, but the sentiment was too big for it. So the sentiment came out of here, just thinking of you today. And I thought that came out really pretty. And then inside I just have a piece of the paper. So that's my first floral card for whatever week this is, June 13th. And then the next one I've been wanting to use this, and I really wanted to use the dies to do the windmill, but I stamped instead. So I'm going to show you the card and then I'll explain it. I also used this large banner thing for the sentiment. So what I did is I took a piece of basic white, and this stamp set has clouds. So I first figured out the paper I wanted at the bottom, and I wanted the one with the smaller flowers on it. I know in the catalog they used this to stamp going up to the windmill, but honestly I just didn't feel like doing that. So anyway, I kind of figured that out and put that, you know, I kind of drew a line where that would end. And then what I did is I stamped the clouds with Versamark and I heat embossed them with white. Man, that light is just so glary. Is that better? I think that's better. With white embossing powder. Let me, that might be better. With the white embossing powder. And so they're just like an outline of a cloud. And then I took my blending brush and I used a combination. First I used Pool Party, because that's one of the colors in the paper, not in this particular one, but it looked a little too green to me. So then I cleaned it off good, and then I used the same brush and I used Balmy Blue. So it's a combination of Pool Party and Balmy Blue. The tree is stamped in Pear Pizzazz, but then what I did is I took the Early Espresso Stampin' Right and I just colored the trunk and a few of the little branches in there with the writing end, actually, because it's a skinny little tree trunk. And back here, this stamp set has this little tiny thing of bushes or trees to make it look like they're in the distance, and I stamped a bunch of them along the border. And then this is colored in excuse me, it's stamped in Memento Tuxedo Black. Hold on one second. Okay, so the windmill is stamped in Memento Tuxedo Black. I actually colored the windmill things Pool Party, so they kind of blend in with the sky more. And then this is colored in Light and Dark Gray Granite and Daffodil Delight here and here. And then I stamped the sentiment in, and they're bumped up on dimensionals, but I put the tree trunk even with the horizon, but the windmill is kind of sitting in the field there. And the sentiment stamped in Rich Raspberry, and I think, and I didn't go around the edges on that one. It's up on dimensionals. And then these are the new what does that say? Fine something adhesive back gems. Hang on, I will tell you. They're new. They're in the new annual. Fine Sparkle Adhesive Back Gems. And they are Calypso Coral, Pale Papaya, Pacific Point, and Pool Party. But the Pacific Point, they're like sort of a faded color of each of those colors, but they're really pretty. They do have fine sparkle, just like it says. So that's what I used here, and here, and they have a nice sparkle. And then I think I sold, or maybe it's in the box I haven't sold yet, the Lighthouse stamp set from last year, Seaside something. Anyway, it had little birds in it, and I couldn't find my old paper pumpkin kit that had the little birds in it. So I hand drew some birds in the sky because it felt a little empty to me there, just with Rich Razzleberry Stampin' Right marker. So that's what I did there, and inside is just blank. I did go around the edges with Rich Razzleberry just to make it a little more defined, but otherwise it's blank. So that is card number 2. Did I leave anything off? Nope, I told you everything for that one. Alright, so that's that. And that's the Tulip Fields stamps and dies. And I did use dies, this one and the tree. I am keeping this set, and eventually I will do one with the actual windmill components because I love that. One of my goals is to get to Europe someday, and I would love to go see Holland and windmills if they still have any, and I don't know. The last card I switched gears. I went to Flowering Rain Boots because this whole thing is retiring, but I'm keeping this one too. It's currently bundled, number 157691, and it's not on sale. And then I used the paper from the New Horizons, which is retiring. It's all these sort of watercolor scenery papers, but I used the back of one, which looks like this, and this, the other side looks like sort of like a nebula. So I used that. This is 6x6, but I made it in, into an A2 size. I did put it, because that is Misty Moonlight, I put it on the new Starry Sky. I could have used Night of Navy as well, but I thought, well, we got new Starry Sky, and I love it, actually. I think it goes really well. So I stamped the rain boots in Daffodil Delight, and then I Wink a Stella them so they're a little bit shiny. There, a little bit of sparkle, you can see. So they look kind of wet. I thought this paper, the background, looks sort of like a stormy sky, deep blue stormy sky. I stamped the greenery in Garden Green, and I started to color some in. I didn't like it, so I just stamped it again and left it. And I stamped the tulips, again tulips, but different set, with polished pink. And then I took my dark Stampin' Right blend and just added a little yellow to them where it was white, because I just thought that tied in the yellow of the boots, and also it just looks pretty because tulips are not all one color, right? And then I thought, well, how am I going to do the sentiment? So I stamped in polished pink to bring in the pink. Rain or shine, I'm here for you, from the set. I used a little bit. Oh, this is the new ribbon, thin ribbon. It's called Starry Sky metallic woven ribbon, 1/8 inch. It comes in all the colors, and I have them all. I think I have them all. Yeah, but the only one, to be honest with you, the only one I don't like is the, well, I like it, but it doesn't match the color of the ink. It's lighter. It's more of a rose looking color to me than the Sweet Sorbet ink pad is. So that's just a thing a pet peeve I have, but all the other colors seem to match just fine, so I don't know what happened there. And then I also used another type of paper. Anyway, I wrapped that ribbon around 3 times here, and I just cut a little piece and, you know, put it through like you do a tag. And this is out of the Heart and Home paper, which is retiring. I didn't look and see if that's on sale. Probably. I just put one kind of section along the bottom so that the boots would have something to sit on. I was gonna put a wider piece like this, but I wasn't liking how that looked, so I turned it around and cut it down to just a single strip, and I'm happy with that now. And then these, this is bumped up on dimensionals, as are this. Now these I use lots of big dimensionals. This I used big dimensionals. And on the tulips, I put a mini dimensional at the top of every single tulip. And then I put a little wet glue along the bottom so that it would hang on to the stems. I hope that made sense. And it's sturdy that way. And then this just has one dimensional under also. Yeah, never mind. And then these sparkly gems are also new. Oh, and the tag is from, I forget which one it was. I think this one. Either this one or this one. I don't remember. Tailor-made tags, dies. They have carried over, and they're on page 175 of the new annual catalog. And these are new. They're called Glossy Dots Assortment. They're really cool. This is Daffodil Delight, and it goes with the rain boots, so I thought that was bright and cheery for a rainy day. So that's that. And then these come in Gorgeous Grape, Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Pool Party. And I originally thought, no, that was for something different. Never mind. I was thinking Pool Party for some reason, but that was for this card. But I decided to use those other gems for that one. But I love the sparkly, and this purple will be great at Halloween time, I think. Really, the yellow too. Anyway, I digress. So that's my 3 cards I did. We can just do one or none and just make, you know, I could have just spent a whole day or something, a couple hours, whatever, making piece tulips, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a card with them. Oh, and these gems are retired, but that's Evening Evergreen. They retired as of the last catalog, and this is bugging me because it slid down onto the letter. It's supposed to be up there. There we go. Okay, so yeah, 3 cards, 3 different stamp sets, 2 different sets of paper, and blending brush and some embossing, stamping and coloring. I had fun making these. I hope you enjoyed them. Please be sure to go check out Stmpgrl's makes if you didn't already. And if you want any of these products, some of which are retiring, with the exception you can't get the ovals dies because they're already retired, but everything else is either current or retiring by June 30th while supplies last. But anyway, if you want anything, I am having a host code open till June 29th for any orders under 150. It would help me recoup some of the costs from the last orders that I placed before I shut down everything. That's up to you. I'm not going to be pushy about that for sure, but it would help. And this one's going away June 30th. This one's going away June 30th, and the dies are on sale. And this one, the stamp and dies are carrying over. But if you want it at a bundle price, you have to get it by June 30th as a bundle to get 10% off, because the new catalog doesn't have them doesn't have the bundle anymore. Okay? Alright guys, thank you so much again, and we'll see you next Monday with some more masculine cards. Also, I will be back, let's see, I am not going to do 2 on Tuesday since I made a birthday card here, and I'm not going to be home most of tomorrow. So my next thing will be, well, I'll have a hashtag Be Creative project sometime this same day, but it may not be till nighttime on the 13th. And then I don't think I'll be back on until Thursday night. I'm going to try and do Thursday night. I don't know if it'll be 6:30 or 7. I might try for 6:30. And that I'm going to try and have 3 or 4 cards for you, some of which might be retiring items. Alright guys, take care, have a great day. Sorry my thing is all crooked. It looks straight to me on the desk, but there you go. Bye.